you have to understand what are the Russian goals and what are they trying to accomplish. And I think the goals here are several fold. And disinformation, like I mentioned, is just one part of a larger effort at sort of hybrid political warfare. So what they're trying to do is use disinformation as part of a larger group of tools: propaganda, agitation, supporting fringe radical groups, either with money or other support, assassination around the world, subversion, sabotage. All of these things are part of a larger package to try to weaken the bonds of democracy in the United States, and maybe even more importantly for Russia, to weaken the bonds between the United States and Western Europe. And so there's a variety of themes and narratives that they're pushing. They're taking our tribal angers and they're amplifying them to try to create weakness here. They're trying to take information that might make Russia look bad and spin it in a way to help them. They try to find ways that between the United States and Europe, issues that are particularly difficult and push them forward. I mean, for example, they also used, during the COVID, they had their own vaccine. And so they wanted to spread disinformation that Western vaccines were ineffective and caused all sorts of problems. And they were doing that because they knew that was divisive, and it was a thing in the United States that could help sort of keep us focused internally and not focused on the things that Russians were up to. So there's a variety of reasons why they do it. But at the end of the day, it's no different than it was from the Chekist day. It's about keeping their leadership in power. So the thing to remember about the Russian state using these tools is they're using them domestically too. They're keeping their domestic opponents sort of on the back foot. They're using lies and deception and propaganda internally. They're monitoring their own people, and they're trying to use disinformation internally. And they're also then using it externally to sort of keep us weaker, weaken us from within, and fulfill their foreign policy tools. And one of the things to remember is, I talked about this from the beginning of the Bolshevik state. This was used through the Soviet period all the way through, but you have a president of Russia who is a career KGB officer. He, by instinct, uses and believes these tools. He was part of the KGB, which was the sword and shield of the revolution. And he grew up in East Germany, involved in money laundering, involved in sort of corruption activities, involved in support to terrorists and fringe groups and all of these things. And he's continued to do that as the leader of Russia, both domestically and externally.